should be doing exactly what you want to do in life, how you want to do it, when you want to do it. Otherwise, you're wasting your life and you're wasting the talents that were given to you. Life is like a real precious short gift.
In August 2004, undefeated build-off champion Indian Larry defended his title. His rival, Mondo, the godfather of choppers.
Being able to ride with Larry is a dream for anybody.
What began as a showdown between East and West became a record of Indian Larry's farewell build and last ride.
At a certain point, what it's all about. Get on the bikes that you built and go out and ride them and enjoy the bikes. That's great. That's living. That's living. That's living. Hey, good morning. Hey. Here we are in beautiful Brooklyn, New York. I'm Indian Larry, and we're here to film the Great Biker Build-Off again, and I can't believe they conned me into doing it again.
For his first build-off, Indian Larry created Ratfink, a rolling tribute to Ed Big Daddy Roth, and a trophy winner in the contest with Paul Yaffe. For his second show, the Grease Monkey matched up with Billy Lane. He won the popular vote at Sturgis, but famously,
we're gonna cut the trophy in half.
Chose brotherhood over bragging rights. Yet those were 30-day bills. This time, there's only 10 days to go from the shop to the road. Even so, there's a shocker coming out of the box.
Parts for my frame. Ah.
The world's first.
There's my frame.
Chain frame chopper.
We take this chain, and there's a little fixture on a table, and it gets hooked on the end, and then pulled taut with tension. Then it can be tacked, so each link doesn't warp off.
Eddie McCary is Indian Larry's welding man.
The real sideshow of welding we got going. I got left-handed, right-handed, put the torch upside down. I got the contortionist hack going on.
Usually, the fewer the welds, the stronger the frame. But Indian Larry has opted for the most welds possible.
We think it's okay. I don't know when I really drop the hammer on this bike what's going to happen, whether it's going to buckle or snap. Honestly, I have a gut feeling it's going to be fine. There's a lot of weld in here.
Link by link, they turn 18 feet of limp chain into a rigid frame. So what triggered this exercising trick?
That was a song.
Is it
that Aretha Franklin song?
Chain of Fools came on the radio.
Chain of Fools came on. It was like
10 minutes later.
There it is. There's the bike.
He came up with the idea for the chain frame, and I tell you, I was kind of easing into it. He was immediately committed to it. It's like, that's what I'm doing.
I get a momentary flash, like a photograph.
Yeah.
And then it fades away, and then what I have to do till the end of the project, I have to chase that illusion of the photograph until I finally go like, okay, there's the picture I had.
In front of you.
Daybreak, 3,000 miles west of Brooklyn. Out of the mythic age of choppers, the original outlaw bikers ride again. The crew from Denver's Choppers, led by the Godfather, Mondo. The legendary shop is tucked into an industrial strip in Las Vegas, where a morning delivery kickstarts the build.
Hey, look who showed up. Better late than never, man.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good.
All right.
This is Irwin Graham. He's probably the best frame builder in the country. He just showed up with our frame. The type of motorcycle we're going to build is going to be called a digger, D-I-G-G-E-R. A digger bike was like a pro street bike from the 1970s.
This mid-70s film shows the digger in its prime, low and compact with a Jones for high performance. Digger style, the frame's got an elongated down tube.
Call this a gooseneck, where we actually take the neck. This neck is normally about right in here, and we stretch it out and actually gooseneck this bar here.
What attaches to the neck is the part that put the shop on the map.
So we decided way back in the 60s to go ahead and design and build our own lightweight Springer front ends.
Mondo makes a set of springers from raw steel. First, by bending the fork legs into wishbone shapes.
There we go.
Then, welding triple trees into place. By the time it's spring-loaded and powder-coated, it'll be grade A old school. To go with the chain frame, another Virtuoso V-twin.
I'm known for the complicated, tricky motors.
Panhead front cylinder, shovel head rear.
We're left with one pan head from the motor, some of the internals, the alternator side of the case. And I'm using one S&S B carburetor and one S&S L carburetor.
The embellishment on this mill is the work of a master.
Hey, look who it is. Did you have a good trip?
I always have a good trip.
This is C.J. Allen. He's probably the finest motorcycle engraver in the world today, without exaggerating. But C.J. has the feel for the motorcycles, and I've been wanting to work with him for at least 20 years.
The question marks on the panhead reflect Larry's philosophy.
The question mark, that's my logo. The question cross, as we call it, it's on my shirt here. That's my business logo, and that's my life's logo, because I don't know what's going on. You know, I just, try to zen, stay in the moment.
Larry's right-hand man, Kano, heaves the motor into the frame.
Tilt it, tilt it. Okay.
As the rolling chassis is mocked up, the brake rotor is laser cut with the logo.
Look at that. What's better than spinning question marks? Look at that. That's complete confusion.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're just in time.
Next, a diamond tank for Mondo and a bed of nails for Larry. Day 3 in Las Vegas, another build-off champion pays homage to the Godfather.
You know, a lot of people out there who are doing choppers today and making a living off of it might not know where everything comes from, but it's guys like Denver and Mondo and what they've done over the years. That people are doing it today and they're pumping the style, but they don't know where it came from. They might not even know his name.
Even in his own shop, the name Mondo comes second. Another name comes first.
Well, it's real simple. Denver Mullins was the guy that started the shop in 1967. I was one of the original guys.
Denver Mullins set up shop in San Bernardino, California, the cradle of the outlaw biker movement. The first Hell's Angel chapter was granted here, and it's where Denver Mullins and crew created the SoCal style. Hyper-extended front forks on a high-performance package.
We don't copy anybody. We were the innovators. We're the ones that started it all.
Mondo was Denver's right-hand man. They called each other brothers from different mothers.
And we made a vow to each other that if anything ever happened to either one of us, would take care of the other one's family and take care of our businesses and stuff.
Besides bikes, the crew built and raced drag boats until October 4th, 1992.
It was late Sunday afternoon, and Denver had just put his fuel boat in the water, and we put our alcohol boat in the water. We had a 3-boat team, and the name of the race boat team was Public Enemy.
Bringing it under power now.
I heard the motor come up and the instant shut off. And it was just, top fuel motors make noise that nothing compares with, and just all of a sudden dead silence. It was like something bad just happened.
The boat had overturned and submerged, trapping Denver.
By that time, the rescue crew boats were flying in that direction and everything, and you could see boat parts floating around the water, and then it was get him up, get him up, get him up, and they never got him up.
That 13 minutes that he was underwater seemed like an hour. Because I was in the hospital with him, and they had him laying on the table in there, and he was gone, and I kept talking to him, saying, "Stop kidding around, Denver, wake up, wake up."
True to his word, Mondo carried on the business and the name.
To come in and sit at that desk and see the pictures of Denver all around and stuff like that, and then have to try to make decisions like he would make, that was probably one of the toughest things I ever had to do in my life.
Because Mondo kept the faith, young guns like Jason are still shaping old-style tanks and welding them watertight.
There you have a tank.
A digger-style diamond tank, flawlessly executed in stainless steel.
These are exhaust mistakes from header shops and muffler shops. I can't afford a mandrel bender to bend tubing, so what we do, we just piece them together, fit them up, tack them, weld them up, and grind them down, and they become one piece again.
With just 7 days left in the build, Larry goes into overdrive.
Like a baseball player or a football player would. When you see that, you know not to approach him. He gets in a zone, he becomes passionate because these are his children.
It's almost get like in a combat zone. I got a mission to achieve, and I go for it. Anything else that's in my way, just get out of the way.
The finished pipes are straightforward, but the frame is plenty over the top.
This frame, the chain frame, is, in all of my years of motorcycling, the only one that I've seen. I like doing stuff like that that's never been done before, that's unique. That's enough for one day. I drove them crazy enough.
In Mondo's shop, there's a crisis in the ranks.
I've had kind of a falling out with my painter.
Omar Lazo is a sign maker who's trying to break into the bike business. He happened to be in the shop the day Mondo fired his painter.
We're on a real tight schedule, so it'd have to be one that if you make a commitment to do this, if you choose to do so, it's going to have to be done in a timely fashion.
The chance of a lifetime painting for a legend on national television, but in a fraction of the usual time frame.
You always want that opportunity, sure.
I look at it as a challenge. When they say 3 days, okay, what can we get done in 3 days? So I'm just kind of focusing on that. I'm not going to let the rest of it get on me because I'm going to get nervous.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're just in time. We have a death-defying, star-studded motorcycle stunt spectacular in store for each and every one of you, starring the one, the only, the living legend, Mr. Indian Larry.
On the world-famous Coney Island sideshow stage, the other side of Indian Larry comes out. The showman. Putting naked flesh to a razor-sharp bed of nails. With his wife Bambi and two-legged dog Willow, a most original New York family.
it's never really actually been about money for either of us. You know, I'm so happy to see him doing what he wants to do and being so successful at it.
It is an art form. It's a tremendous art form, and there's so many disciplines associated with it. You know, painting, engraving, leather work, the metal work. It is full-on sculpture and painting. And then you have extremely critical tolerances you have to deal with, like 2 10,000ths of an inch in the motors. So it's an art form that's pushed like over the top.
Artistry and showmanship have taken the old outlaw into the mainstream.
The demographics of my fan base now astounds me, because it's from like little kids to 80-year-old women, and it's a lot of people that don't even ride bikes. I mean, the bikes almost don't have anything to do with it.
Day 4, Las Vegas, Nevada.
These are the handlebars that we built for Mondo. Basically, they're sized and spec'd to the bike.
Mondo's running the cleanest bars on the planet.
As you can see, all the wiring, the throttle cables, the brake lines, everything come out of the handlebars themselves.
These are kind of a little bit of a modern take on an old school Z-bar, you know, with the miter cuts and the angles and the way that they sit, you know, they kind of have that old school vibe, you know. They fit with this tank beautifully.
Look at the lines on the gas tank, and then look at the lines here. See how they're parallel? That's real important when you're building a bike. Fit and finish is everything.
Tailpipes are next, inspired by a Mondo poster bike, fabbed from scratch.
What Mondo wants to do is he wants the rear pipe to be the low pipe, and the front one will just pretty much come straight back.
Those would look so cool. Cocktail shakers. Yep, little cocktail shakers.
Get a stainless steel diamond tank, new Denver's oil tank, panhand motor, old 12-spoke American mags.
I can't believe how far you are already on this thing, man. 3 days.
In Brooklyn, the front forks have been powder-coated Starburst Violet, a brand new color seen here for the first time.
This is nice, John.
But to really see Metal Flake, you need daylight.
I like it. It's just got the hint. It's just what I wanted. It's got the flake in it, but it's dark enough. It definitely looks Monster Coach.
Next to go to powder coat is the chain frame.
Oh, a final sign off on this? Okay. Out.
In Las Vegas, the rolling chassis is going to paint. Mondo needs to sign off on all parts.
It's going to sit. This is what I envisioned. Long and low. Take this motorcycle apart and send it off to the painter and powder coater and chromer and stuff like that.
Not so fast. Mondo's been overruled on the matter of his fender.
A couple of the other members around here just thought it didn't look right. Mondo was dead set on it, and he was trying to incorporate a little of the new school style into the old school, but it just didn't work.
The new fender gets split and widened. A set of wraparound struts. And 70s style skirts. They've burned up most of day 4 making the new piece, but finally it's burnt due to the bone.
That was funky, bro.
If I don't win this thing, I'm going to blame it on the fender.
We lost, but we got the fender we wanted.
Brooklyn, day 5. The chain frame is back from the paint shop.
Looks like the well's held up under powder coating, so we'll see what happens when Maniac behind the wheels on it.
Indian Larry tells how losing a finger turned into a plus.
This hand? It's better. Yeah, you get in tighter spots. Makes you a better mechanic. Like most horrible atrocities that happen to you in life, when you look at them in retrospect, it's usually a blessing or a lesson or something like that.
After his show-stopping paintwork on Larry's other 2 Discovery bikes, Robert Pretke's back on the job, in charge of graphics and clear coat.
Hello, Robert.
How are you doing?
Just in the middle of that.
But this time, he's out of his comfort zone.
The chain part of it or the powder coating part of it, both of it's new to me. So I'm used to doing my own bases, and I'm working on top of a powder coating this time, and it's just going to be a little different.
Seat-making guru Paul Cox is Larry's shopmate, making for a 20-foot commute to the project.
How does this relate to our standard width? The standard width, like on the rat thing.
The frame is a little bit narrower.
It's a chain frame. It's not going to fit like you're building a mahogany chest or something, right?
I can't lose now.
Just give me something to sit on.
Indian Larry's got battle-tested veterans on leather and paint. Las Vegas, minutes left in the paint schedule. For the rookie painter, it's showtime.
You didn't tell me you haven't never seen these painters work before, huh?
No. No, you know, this is Vegas. You could do a crapshoot every now and then, so we'll see what happens. You know, either that or I'm just going to have to ride real fast so nobody can see it.
In Brooklyn, they're also sweating the paint. Robert's laying out flames on the powder coat base, which has turned cloudy after sanding. Nobody knows if the true color will come back when it's clear-coated.
Both of us are a little concerned with the clarity of the powder clear coming back.
Yeah, but I expect that'll come back up when a clear is shot on it. I'm hoping. But I'm not a chemist.
A first-class paint job will be ruined if the base coat's a bust.
This is Tuesday morning, and we're waiting for the frame this morning. The painter's supposed to have it done. He's supposed to have it delivered at 9:30. It's now after 10. I'm getting a little apprehensive.
Moments later, the rookie arrives.
Morning. Good morning. Here. You got it? Beautiful. Wow. That's great. Beautiful job.
Like it?
Excellent, excellent.
Molding on it.
You're our new painter. Welcome to Denver's.
Very nice.
Welcome to Denver's.
This young gun found Mondo's soft spot. He smoothed all the welds until the frame is slick.
Basically, this is what we used to do in the 70s, is mold the frame and get rid of all the welds and make it look like one fine piece of candy, a piece of plastics.
With the frame in the shop, final assembly can begin.
Good. We're ready to build a motorcycle now.
In Brooklyn, the paint job's on the line. Hopefully, when the clear coat goes on, the color will come back.
Came right back. I don't see any milky problem. I don't see anything really bad. You know, I'm glad the milk went away. I was concerned with that. I was really, really hoping it was going to go away. And like you said, when I put that first coat of clear on and it went away, that was good. There you go, Larry. Hopefully it's enough, and can't wait to see it on the bike.
Good morning, guys. What's new for me to look at today?
Monday morning in Brooklyn. Over the weekend, the crew had mocked up the bike with finished components. For the first time, Indian Larry sees his brainchild in the flesh.
I'm looking at the most beautiful motorcycle I've ever seen in my life so far. At the risk of sounding egotistical, I mean, I love it. Just hope I can get it running. It's just going to start looking more and more detailed, more jewel-like, more like a chalice, you know, like a jewel chalice. You don't see bikes like this that often. You know, that's what I shoot for, something that's just mind-bending.
Cosmetics are one thing, mechanics another. Larry and crew dive into the grueling task of final assembly. In 2 days, the chain frame chopper must be on the road.
If you miss Loctite or tightening one screw, it's all over. It'll break the whole bike.
Every Indian Larry bike gets a name painted on the belt drive. This one's Chain of Mystery.
It's eerie spooky. It's eerie spooky. Whoa. No.
Day 9, Denver's choppers. The digger gets a drivetrain. And of course, the trademark Springer front end.
We'll put the big nut on till you get the triple tree on.
Even though it's final assembly, they're still fabricating sheet metal. A diamond-shaped air cleaner cover to match the gas tank.
This is called ghetto braking. As you can tell, I don't have a brake here. And this is the way I would normally do it. And a little ingenuity.
In Brooklyn, there are gremlins. First, the handlebars.
They weren't made right. Let me see. I don't even know if this measurement's right. The bike is sitting right here. What's so hard to measure it?
What Larry wants is an exact copy of his tried and true bars.
It's not only not 1 inch shorter, it's 3 inches longer. So get that all apart and do it right.
There's no excuses. It was totally my fault. So he feels a different pressure, but I feel different pressure. You know, trying to meet his high expectation as a right-hand man.
The combo panhead shovelhead is the most exotic motor in the business. So will it fire? It runs, but it's rough. The engine timing is adjusted, but it still misfires. Larry tears down a carburetor.
I do have a 66 in there. I think that's too fat.
And discovers 2 loose screws along with a bad timing mark.
Probably mismarked this somewhere, like, you know, down the line. I don't know when, and we're going by that mark. But it turned out to be a blessing in disguise because I actually forgot to tighten these 2 screws here on the base plate. It was just a bike trying to tell me something that I up. You know, we both screw up. He screws up, I screw up. It's, you know, unfortunately, he's not the one who signs the checks. He's a good worker, and I'm lucky to have this guy. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's the facts.
Day 10. The biggest diamond in Vegas is ready for its setting. Painted and polished to a dazzling finish.
DJ, this is exactly what I pictured. You know, the stainless steel polish, the red scallops. You ready to fire? I'll be right there.
young guns, and outlaws from Old Purdue, the Denver's Choppers crew have fulfilled their mission.
This motorcycle represents the West Coast Denver's chopper style. I am the godfather of choppers. This is the Godfather crew, and I'm so proud of them.
All right, well, that's about done.
The Chain of Mystery bike gets a seat. Another Paul Cox creation.
Hits the mark every time for me. It's just like Robert with the paint, like CJ with the engraving. I just tell them loosely what I think I want this. I'm not even sure half the time what I want, and when they do it, there it is. That's what I want.
The seat's been tooled with a cartoon of Indian Larry as the Grease Monkey.
I used an American cowhide, did all the carving and tooling, came back and took the natural leather and just kind of buffed it with some purple and brown and give it sort of an antiqued kind of feel. And then as it weathers and breaks in, it starts to kind of, soften the look a little bit.
With the seat fitted, the chain frame chopper is ready for the road.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
If it'll start.
The perfectionist
This is a nice bike.
is finally appeased.
I'm happy now. Bring it on, Mondo.
The ghost of an old steel mill in Pittsburgh. The forging ground for America's bridges and battleships is now abandoned, except for a morning in late August. Two titans of the old style, face to face.
Oh, it's beautiful.
After 37 years in the business, Mondo sees something brand new.
Well, he's the first. I've been around a long time. He's the first guy to ever do this to the chain. That's unbelievable. What gave you the idea to do that?
Same thing gives me all my ideas. I get hit by a lightning bolt while I'm sleeping.
From the bridges of Pittsburgh, it's a 700-mile ride south to Charlotte, North Carolina. From the Steel City to stock car heaven.
We jumped on our bikes and started riding and kind of getting used to each other and our riding styles.
Yeah, it's beautiful. No rain, it's beautiful.
I got into my comfort zone real close because when you're riding 100 miles an hour next to a guy that's 2 feet away from you, you got to be confident in the rider.
The biggest question of the build was whether Larry's chain frame would hold up. But that was the shop. This is the road.
Everything I was worried about on this bike proved to be not the thing that was the problem. Oil tank's leaking a little bit, pinhole leak. The country's beautiful. The right temperature conditions, not too hot, not too cold to ride. Perfect air density for the motors.
Being able to ride with Larry is kind of a dream for anybody. It's the best you can wish for.
Way off the interstate on the changeless back roads, time stands still, and big city inhibitions disappear.
Long day riding. Skinny dipping. Where can we get arrested? This is old school. Oh, it's a nice, refreshing dip after, a little ride. It's refreshing. I always like to go swimming.
Further down the road, Larry's gas tank breaks loose.
Well, it happens, The bolt broke. Oh. What do you mean?
Is there enough meat in there to tap it?
Chasing this guy, I think he has a welder.
What are the odds?
I don't.
This is classic, I'll tell you.
Well, y'all got your word.
How you doing, boss?
Pretty good, buddy.
My name's Larry. What's your name?
Danny Crow.
Danny,
Glad to
how you
meet
doing?
Yes, sir. Doing fine. How about yourself?
Need either a TIG or a MIG welder to weld a little bung in a tank.
Let's go see what you got.
What the road takes away, the road gives back.
Got lucky. The guy has a welder. And what could be better? Break down in front of the welding shop. What could be better?
Renowned photographer Timothy White is one of the riders. He's taken pictures of countless Hollywood stars. And now, Danny Crawford and his father Frank of West Virginia. Over the Appalachian Mountains and beyond. On arriving in North Carolina, everybody should be issued a NASCAR. Exactly what happens to Indian Larry.
Myself, Dave Perowitz, Kendall Johnson, and Billy Lane, correct? The four of us? Yeah. And we're going to have at it. We're NASCARs.
Indian Larry, doing what he did best, living in the moment.
Speed is speed. Need the speed.
The climactic day of the build-off began like any other. The high decibel entrance. The brotherhood that underlies the contest.
That was fun. It was a good ride, right? Yeah.
Two bikes built in just 10 days, tested on 700 miles of back road, are now put to the ballot. One boat for each showgoer. As morning passed into early afternoon. Outside, the stuntman side of Indian Larry comes out, giving the crowd a show, tirelessly promoting the sport. He was finished with his scheduled stunt work when he went out on the track for an encore. No one imagined it would be his last.
We're at the biker build-off. It's Saturday. Larry was out doing stunts on his motorcycle for the crowd, and he was standing on the seat like he often does, and he fell off. And when he fell off, he hit his head. And we're praying for him right now. And
On a brilliant late summer day in Brooklyn, the tribe gathered 4,000 strong. A memorial for Indian Larry in the spirit of the man.
Larry wouldn't want a bunch of people walking by, with their heads down and crying and everything, We all do it at our own time, but not today. Today is a celebration of his life, the way he lived it.
For Biker Build-Off, there was one job left to do. In an interview recorded a month earlier, Indian Larry reflected on the competition.
I don't know why, I can't really put my finger on it, and I think it would be not only good for me, I think it would be good for the whole shop, the whole crew, to get a third win under our belt, come off undefeated.
The votes had been counted and recounted. The outcome from co-executive producer Hugh King.
I'm here to say that it was Larry who took the day. And now it's my pleasure to give the trophy away to his comrades, brothers, and loved ones. Congratulations.
Indian Larry and his crew still undefeated.
I had the time of my life. It was the best experience I ever had, riding handlebar to handlebar with Larry for 3 days.
Mondo, still unshakably loyal to his brothers of the road. Denver Mullins, Indian Larry.
And I'm in the same position this gentleman's in right now and the rest of his crew. And I know these guys, they're going to keep the shop going in Indian Larry's name.
I never question or doubt the journey. I really have trust that the next phase, very zen-like, the next phase is going to transpire the way it's supposed to transpire. The mystery of life, that's what this was, just the mystery of life, the big question mark.